we go by what it is that we see, or we try to create an image for others to see instead of really focusing on what's important, and that's on the inside, right? Working on our heart, working on our spirit, man. We're so caught up in posting everything online, everything we do, everything we achieve. Why? Because we want, people to look at us a certain way. Our Eat Up Monday. Hey, what's going on, guys? You guys already know what day it is. It is the day after Sunday. Welcome to another Eat Up Mondays. I know you guys are here because you're hungry. You've brought your appetite. So have I. So with that being said, guys, we're not going to prolong this meal. Without further ado, let's dig in. Today, our meal is going to be coming out of 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter. We're going to be reading verses 1, 6, and 7 because of purposes of time. And if you're not familiar with this story, this is the story when the Lord sent Samuel to anoint David as king. So without further ado, guys, let's start in that first verse. And it reads as follows. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil and go, and I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. So we know that the Lord was displeased with how Saul did things and how he ran things. He wasn't obedient to the word of the Lord, and the Lord rejected him. He ripped the kingdom away from him, and now he is sending Samuel to anoint David. He has sent him to the house of Jesse. We're going to drop down to that 6th verse. And it came to pass when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. So now this is David brothers coming before Samuel for him to anoint one of Jesse's sons as king. So the first to come is Eliab. And he says, listen, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance. This is very key on what we're going to be talking about. The Lord said, don't look on his countenance, right? Don't make this choice because of what you see, because of your eyes, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance. There it is again. Man looketh on the outward appearance. Don't go with your eyes. You can't always go with what you see, right? But the Lord looketh on the heart. So what is the Lord saying here? He says, listen, what's most important is what's going on the inside, what's going on the inside of someone than what's happening on the outside. Why? Because looks can be deceiving. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that today because a lot of times as human beings, and being that we're going into this new year, this is something that we really want to get rid of if we're still struggling with it, right? It's perception, how people perceive us and how we perceive others. Some definitions of perception is attention, image, right? The way we see things, the ideas. So attention, image, ideas, the way we think on what it is that we're seeing. And that's what we see happen here with Samuel, right? He saw something and he immediately started thinking, because of the way Eliab looks, this has to be the Lord's anointed, but it was not. And this is key for us to understand this because many of us, we go by what it is that we see, or we try to create an image for others to see instead of really focusing on what's important, and that's on the inside, right? Working on our heart, working on our spirit, man. We're so caught up in posting everything online, everything we do, everything we achieve. Why? Because we want, people to look at us a certain way. Are those things wrong in themselves? Absolutely not. Is it okay to share accomplishments with others? Absolutely. But when you're doing that so you can get the approval of others, or because you're worried about how others see you, then that can be a huge problem. If you make decisions on what you see, if you believe things because of the images that you see, then that is a problem. Most of us, that are of age now, we understand now that just because somebody has a nice car doesn't mean that they have money, right? Just because somebody has a nice house doesn't mean that they have money. Because as we get older, we realize that just because you have stuff, it doesn't mean that you have money. It doesn't mean that you're managing things well. So when we become mature spiritually, we should definitely know better than to go by what we see. We definitely have to know that it's all about how the Lord sees things, and that's according to the heart. That's according to what's going on the inside. And I wanted to help you guys going into this new year to lift that burden off you, right? Stop trying to prove stuff to people. Stop trying to make people think you are who you are or think you are who you are not, right? Because some of us are posting stuff and doing stuff and saying stuff and trying to prove stuff to people. And some of it may not be who we really are. And it may be who you are, but you don't have to prove anything to anybody, right? Your actions, what you do behind the scenes, what you do in the dark, it will always come to the light. And that's good or bad. And once again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that it's wrong to share your accomplishments and tell your testimonies, but you know within you why you are doing those things. You know what your motive is for doing those things. You know if it's because you lack confidence, right? You know if it's because you're depressed and you need some type of affirmation from people online or from people you know or from people on the job. And God says, listen, that's unhealthy. You got to work on the inner man, because once you work on the inner man, you start to realize it don't matter what they think. It's about what I know. Let me say that again. It's not about what people think. It's about what you know. And people that are close to me, they hear me say this all the time in conversation. It's not about what they think, guys. It's about what you know. So let's not be like Samuel was in this particular situation and go by what we see, because looks can be very deceiving. And that's why the Bible says that we have to have a spirit of discernment. Why? Because things always look great on the outside. They can always look great on the outside. Let's be honest. Some of us, we dress well, we look well, but some of us aren't healthy within, right? Some of us aren't healthy because of our eating habits, but we can get sharp as a tack, right? We can look as good as we want. We can get our hair done, haircut if you're a man, suit, dress, Tim's, jeans, whatever it is you like to wear when you clean. And you look very good on the outside, but you could be unhealthy on the inside. And that's what I'm encouraging you guys on today. We have stepped into a new year. Don't bring those old habits, that old mindset, that old way of perceiving things and seeing things into this new year, right? We need to get rid of this altogether, right? So that we can be healthy spiritually, and everything else that needs to be revealed will be revealed in its time. So I pray that you guys were encouraged by this. I pray that, you stop worrying about what other people think, because it doesn't matter what they think. It's about what you know. Like, why try to impress, somebody that you don't even know where they are? They might look like they got it all together, but they may not have it all together, right? They may be struggling as well. They may be in the same place you are, and yet you trying to show off for them when when really they're crying out for help as well. So be confident in the Lord first, and then that will allow you to be confident within yourself. But I pray that this encourage somebody, and if it has, please share it with somebody else. But know that I love you guys. Know that I'm worried, or I don't even want to say worried, but that I'm concerned about your spirit and who you are in the Lord. I'm not worried about what you have and what you've done. All those things are nice. We can kick it about all those things and chop it up about those things. But what's important first is how we are doing on the inside. But know that I love you guys. And until the next time we share a beautiful spiritual meal together, Shalom.